Take a walk down Prairie Street with Elliot Moscowitz. Founder and CEO of PrairieStreet.co, Elliot Moscowitz interviews the most interesting personalities in the Jewish and secular world. Today's guests, Hasidic influencers Moses and Zippora of TikTok and Instagram fame.
Welcome to Prairie Street Media. We're starting a new series on our channel, a podcast called A Walk Down Prairie Street. We've had great chefs and interesting people on our channel, and this is the first time we've ever had influencers on our channel, and I thought it would be a great idea, instead of just this little banter that you have in videos, to be able to find a little more, to peel the onion and find out a little more about who these people are, what makes them tick, and why we were attracted to them to be on this channel. So let me introduce Moses and Zippora. They are very well known on Instagram and TikTok. And kind of, how did you get into this whole game? You've only been doing it for a couple of years and you're extremely successful. And before you answer that, I just want to say one thing is the influencer world, non-Jewish and Jewish, is a really complicated place. And I think you could count on literally one hand the people that are authentic, sincere, that people can relate to. And that's why we moved our shoot this time to Hollywood, Florida, double Hollywood, to have our Hollywood production here, but to be with these special people. So why don't you tell us a little about how you got into that? And it's true, we do what we say what we do. And so tell us how you guys got into this whole thing. You had real jobs before you got into that, right?
And we have real jobs right now.
Okay, so tell us how you balanced it, what your attitude is, and what you're trying to accomplish.
So I know you want to talk so badly. He just has so much information waiting to come out of there. Would you like to start? Okay, I'll start. So we started when TikTok came out. It was this huge platform with girls dancing and different songs going on, and we weren't crazy about it. We were kind of like, yeah, this is not for us or for our kids. And then COVID hit, and what was everyone doing? They were busy on their phones or on their computers, and TikTok suddenly turned from a place of entertaining young girls to a place of teaching, educating. And I was watching all these couples teaching about their cultures, their religions, and I was like, hey, Moses is a really great teacher. He knows how to teach. He's great at it.
He's Mr. Chat GPT.
There we go. He's a new Chat GPT with all the emotions.
They owe you for that right now.
And I'm like, let's give it a hit. Let's try something so basic, and let's talk about kippas. Why do boys cover their heads? And that was our first post, if you look back. And we posted it, and he was like, ugh, TikTok, so stupid. But he thought it'd be a waste of time. He's like, you know what, I'll go for it. Fine, if you say so, I'll listen to you. And we did our first post, and I think it went viral. It got thousands and thousands of hits, and I was like, okay. And our comments were like, tell us more, teach us more. We want to know more. And that's when we kind of got more into it. You want to take over?
Some of the videos that we have. First of all, thank you so much,
yes,
Elliot.
Thanks for having us.
And trip down what's
it? Not a trip down. This isn't an LSD show, but it's a walk down Prairie Street.
Walk down Prairie Street. So thank you. It's an honor and thank you so much. This is our first time, Zippora and I are on a podcast. And
it's my first time doing a podcast.
And we'll learn together.
We're jumping off the cliff together here.
Taking a walk together for the first time.
One of the things that I subscribe to is the fundamental principle of the wife is right. The wife is right.
That's why I married him.
She's only on my left side now just because of the camera angles. So when my wife comes with the idea and says, let's put out videos on this type of platform, this is how how I got into it. I said, I really didn't think so. Even though in my own mind, to be honest, let's be frank, I really thought in my own mind, I'm a loud guy anyways. I talk to everybody.
You do.
I love talking to everybody. I walk into a store today, my kids have to tell me, Abba, don't talk to anyone, please. They don't like the attention. I happen to like it. So Zippora says, there's this platform called TikTok. Let's teach Torah. We come from Chabad families, Let's do something. If there's a Jew there, why can't we use this out? I said, who's going to watch me? A 15-year-old, somebody who wants to learn a dance? They want to know why we are tzitzis? They want to know what kosher is? We did it. And before, a lot of our videos have millions and millions. And thank you to any of our viewers that we encourage questions. We also got a lot of, I remember getting a lot of, in the beginning, hate comments. They call it hate comments.
Yeah, sure.
And that's where they want to shut you down.
Right.
The evil inclination or the evil spirits or the people who just...
The haters. The haters going to hate.
We got that, and we were not so politically correct. We still aren't. But back then, we were like, we don't want that. We made a video. Elliot, we made a video saying, listen closely. We don't want any haters. Don't watch us. Leave. Get out. This platform is for good. You want to learn? No problem. You want to ask questions? We can sense your condescendingness or your... we can sense if you don't like it. Leave. Don't watch us. People like that. They like that.
Well, there's two kinds of jealousy. That's the way I look at it. There's a jealousy that people say, I would love to have this beautiful house that we're in right now. And there's a jealousy that say, I want it, but I don't want you to have that. And I think what they're really, the haters, we have that situation too and stuff. And pretty much you ignore it is that people it's easier for them to criticize than to do something and create content that's legible. And I think you just have to ignore that and move on. We're kind of following in your space. In addition to doing these long-term videos that we've been doing for 2 years, we're now doing a lot more working on short-term content as well, because they are an educational platform, and you could, whether it be a long video recipe and you want to give a condensed version of that, that's helpful. So with all information, it's a two-edged sword, and I think you guys are really setting the bar for what is quality that will actually enhance people's lives. So when the ADHD social networks are pushing on you to watch an hour of 30-second content, what does your brain really resonate with? And I think what we were attracted to your content was that you really could walk away with something that you could resonate and carry with you and carry out your life with you. So that's pretty amazing. Do you have any sense of the demographics of where your clientele are? Do you know that? Or it's a
good question, because Elliot, first of all, we were attracted to you, if you can say that in today's day and age, was that
while you're touching my shoulder, you can say anything you want.
Your incredible meat. Can we say that in this day and age?
Sure.
Yeah. So that's really what attracted us. Analytics of TikTok are very, very sophisticated. So they allow a creator or an influencer, which I hate that word in the first place. It's so against.
Why? You influence people.
Yeah, but influence.
And you create content, so you're both.
It's really you. But
I think what he's saying is the influencer world, a lot of it is fake. So for instance, someone is pushing an iPhone, and then you see their Twitter account, they're twittering from an Android.
Right.
So there's something that really isn't valid there. And I think what you're doing is really special there.
We could definitely see the diverse.
I think he's asking, what are the demographics?
In other words, is your clientele mostly in North America? Are they global?
They're global. They are.
And do people reach out to you, like when you're thinking of these ideas? I could see just on set, you're thinking like a million things at the same time.
That's called ADHD.
That's great. Everybody has a little of that, and that's a good thing when you channel that properly. So when you look at that, do you say, well, we're trying to figure out videos that we think will resonate as you're now a bigger player, and we get comments and people are asking for that, or you kind of don't try to follow the trend and you just figure out what is good for you and your platform? In the long run, it works out. What's your strategy?
Well, as you see, wherever we are at that moment is when the ideas come to play. So I was here and I saw so many opportunities to create and teach based on the moments that I was in right then and there. So some of it is planned, some of it we'll read comments, and the comments that come up so much and so often are the ones that we will answer, because we want people to know what they're asking. We want to give them answers, and a lot of things are, we try to put ourselves in their shoes and say, what seems so crazy? What seems so strange? What seems like a myth? And we'll kind of, answer those type of questions and get into that. So I think it's a little bit of both.
So today we filmed with Kendra, you guys.
That was fun.
That was
We
great.
did a
You
meat
guys
show,
made
yeah.
a silver tip roast and sous vide. So what did you think of from our standpoint? We're also in the education game. We're starting with great meat. We add great education. We think we have great service, and we make that combination. What did you think of our education process? Did you feel at the end of the video, wow, this is something I could do myself, and I wasn't really overwhelmed by that?
Absolutely. I thought I walked out of this kitchen thinking that I'm a chef. I'm a fancy chef right now. I just have to put on a pair of heels and then I'll be extra fancy. I got to get that knife and that oven. Yeah, she made it so simple. And you think, when you think of like fancy foods and fancy meats, you think that there's like so many steps that go into it. But she used 3 ingredients, 4, including the meats. And I'm like, I could do this.
Cream.
You don't need to and the cream. That was
sauce
one
that
of
you
those
made.
ingredients. Oh,
That's kind of what we're trying to teach, and in general, is concepts more than by rote methods, right? So we teach a concept that you can apply, and you could apply that to many things. And people in general, I think, like to stick in their lanes, 1 or 2 lanes that they're comfortable with. I have the problem that I'm the exact opposite. I get bored.
that.
I don't like it. So what we've done through me is, on this channel, is shown whether you're using a grill, using a smoker, using live fire, sous vide, air fryer, Instapot, ovens, grilled, any method, but you could apply any of the recipes that you see or any of the meats and say, okay, Instant Pot is my thing, and I could use that, and that makes life a lot easier for us. And that's what we're trying to teach, is some basic concepts, even from very sophisticated people, that can educate you and get comfortable. And if you start with great meat and you add a good technique, it's equal or even better many times than any restaurant experience that you could get, and you could control that. So that's what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, and that meat that we ate was better than any restaurant I've been to here in Florida.
Yeah, we've actually been to some of the best restaurants. So I definitely taste. And when you sent over that box,
Yes.
And I even roasted it. I did the barbecue, and we did it as best as we could with the wood, and then we smelled the wood. I tasted the difference, and I said, something's different with this meat. There's a healthier taste, not in a healthy taste, ugly, but they're not treating the animals the best. We're not getting the best meat, and unless we're paying for it, I have a guy like you who watches the process.
We spent like 2 years figuring out sourcing, and right now we're at 45-year highs of inflation, and so there's a lot of stress on food prices in general. But either in kosher is a relatively like 1% of the non-kosher market, and we made a strategic decision a couple of years ago, is that either you do volume or you do the best quality, and that's what we've chosen. The best quality. We don't buy from Mexico and Uruguay. The reason is also the climate and the environment isn't great, and even the Canadian, we don't buy anything imported. So I think that we try to make sure that we have consistent quality. The reason we could work with chefs like Yossel Backman and other people is they know they have high-end clients that no matter what order it is, that they get consistent quality. And that's almost the entire hardest part of this whole project, besides the media company and everything else, is giving it. And I think we have that nailed of doing that. So that's why we're very careful of what we buy, how we package, how we sell it, and how we inform, and so that everybody has a consistent experience.
That's beautiful. I want to just touch upon, as a rabbi, I went to yeshiva and I became a rabbi.
Okay.
And I don't practice as a rabbi, but something that we can learn from your way of taking quality meat and going quality over quantity. We can learn that in Avodas Hashem and serving Hashem, right? You're teaching somebody how to pray. You're teaching your children how to pray. Somebody who doesn't really know. And they can look at the prayers and they pray so much. I can't say all those words. Kids get bored. I get bored. But Hasidus, Jewish mysticism, teaches that God wants quality over quantity. If we can just focus on just one paragraph of the prayers, and if you do that with your full heart and full attention, that's just as good, if not better, than sitting in shul in synagogue and just mumbling. You know, if you bring your wife a quality diamond, is much better than giving her Marshall's 10, crappy Marshall.
Lahavdil elef havdalos.
Lahavdil elef havdalos. So yeah, quality is so important, and this is really going to be, food is everywhere in Jewish life.
Food is everywhere and everything.
Everything.
We live for food. I'd rather spend $80 on like a dish than on a skirt. Like I'll think twice if I'm shopping.
She doesn't mean skirt skates.
No, if I'm shopping for clothes and I'll see like a skirt for $80, I'll be like, do I need it? But if I'm eating and there's something for, I'm like, I need that. I will.
Wow. So you're a luckier husband than I thought. You're not into the bags.
No, I'm into food. I'm all into food.
I think it sounds like you both have a win-win situation going on. That's the channel.
It wasn't so easy, by the way. It wasn't so easy because when I was dating Zippora, and I don't tell this to everybody.
We're getting into the nitty-gritty.
Okay,
yes.
Well,
when I was dating you, what?
Yeah, why not?
Do you edit this too?
Maybe. It depends if it's really good.
I'll
keep it in.
You can ask me how we met if
it.
you want. If you want to know, you want to.
No, you were going to say it. So just
I was going to say it wasn't all that.
1 second. Do you want to ask me first?
No, I don't think so.
You're saying we both got a good bargain, or we both got lucky. I got definitely much luckier because when we were dating, her parents even knew. They said, this guy, nice guy, but he's a clown. You can get anybody. What do you know? I came into her house to meeting her father, my future father-in-law and mother-in-law, and I just started cracking jokes with them and acting like,
like himself.
I was 23 years old. And
23-year-old.
Coming from yeshiva, you're really just only like 17-year-old
mentally
mature. Yeah. So the mother laughed at me and said, not for my elegant, classy daughter. You're for someone else. And the father also sat me down and said, look, you're not for my daughter, please. What else do you want? Some chicken soup? I will give you chicken soup.
Now they love him. He's the favorite son-in-law. Oh no, what if the other son-in-laws are watching this?
I had to behave a little bit and show them that I could be, for a very short period of time, a little bit responsible and mature.
So when my daughter got married, actually, she plowed through a bunch of guys, and I would meet them on the third date, like they do in the religious world. And the guy she ended up marrying was the guy that was playing with my head within 1 minute of walking into the door. And it was the same type of experience I had. I go, this is someone that's a really good fit, and not everybody's in a cookie cutter, and people are complimentary. And my best compliment that I say is that if your family could be the best cholent you've ever made, that you take all the best ingredients and then kind of the lower stuff kind of goes to the bottom, and you're left with the combination of the best attributes of everyone that brings to the table.
Everything's cholent and meat and food with this guy.
But everything isn't. I think family is important, and I think what you're doing, I actually come from a gigantic Chabad family, even though that's not my daily job. And I think the attitude that you were talking about of it's not all or nothing. It's not that either you do all these things or you're not on the program. Is anything you do is a good thing, and that leads you to the next step. And that's what permeates really everything that you guys do. Even the types of little videos that you were doing on halacha and kosher and stuff were really interesting, and that's why we were really excited to have you on set with us, and I think this will be the beginning of a long-term relationship.
Yes, absolutely.
Together.
We're so happy to be here. We were so excited when you
so nice. We had a great
invited
time.
us over.
We loved it. It was great. The crew loved you. Everybody loved you.
Love you too, guys.
And I think we'll be continuing this in the future, but this was a great first step, and thank you for helping me launch our podcast.
Thanks for having us first on your podcast.
First you got to go with your best foot forward when you start. So thank you.
Subscribe to our channel now and set your notifications so you don't miss our latest recipes and chef-led tutorials. Then head over to prairiestreet.co to shop for your next big meal.